You're tuned in to Ask the Master Auto Technician. Car questions? Get answers right now. Call 850-763-0555.
James Auto Center, we fix it right, guaranteed. Beep, 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 yeah.
All right, good morning, everybody. This is for our second half of our show. Monday morning, I have Scott Hobbs calling all the way from Mr. Reuter. It's early in the morning, but Scott, how are we doing this morning, sir?
We're doing great. How are you?
I am doing well, sir. I'm having a little problem hearing out my headphones this morning, so just bear with me. It's Monday morning. Nothing seems to work on Monday morning. What seemed to be the biggest headache y'all had during the weekend, or I shouldn't say headache, that people had problems with? It was a nice weekend, so I don't think anything was flooding out there. So.
Yeah, the challenge, big challenges. That's what we have.
Yes, the big challenges.
That's right. Yeah. Well, it's drains. We're known for being great at drain work, and folks are having all sorts of trouble with drains, kitchen drains, main drains. A few water heaters still lingering along here. We get really busy with water heaters during the cold weather, but still getting a few of those. But mostly just drains.
Now, let me ask, a lot of people out there have water heaters that heat the water, and they're electric, but they're not on timers. Aren't they using a lot of electricity needlessly by not having them on timers?
Well, yes and no.
Okay.
If they use a lot of hot water or frequently use their hot water throughout the day, these water heaters are becoming so much more efficient.
Okay.
It's almost like these Yeti cups that you drink your drink out of these days that hold the ice for 2 or 3 days. These water heaters are becoming that efficient, to hold the heat. So they're way more efficient than they were years ago.
Okay.
Now, if you're, out of town or have a vacation home, I would say, but that's a great idea. But if you're using the water heater on a regular basis, multiple times throughout the day, it may not be as important as it was a few years back.
Now, so a water heater that's probably 8 years old isn't very efficient versus a water heater that was made last week, so to speak.
That's right. Okay. That's right. The government, keeps mandating, just like they do for the auto industry, get more efficient, and the only way they can do that is they add, a better, higher quality and thicker insulation. So, a water heater that's a 50-gallon water heater that we could get into a 26-inch closet or a 22-inch closet, let's say, we can't get it in there anymore.
Right.
It's thicker and wider. Right.
Well, yeah, that's one of the things I was talking to someone this weekend. They said, well, they have a small water heater, and I think it's like a 30-gallon water heater. And they said, and it's my electric bill, it seems to be coming on more and more. And I said, well, look, it's just you. You're only there, in the mornings and at night. Why don't you put a timer on it? And they looked at me like, a timer? I go, yeah, have it come on a couple hours before you wake up in the morning and have it go off, when you go to work. And then have it come on about an hour or so before you come home at night. And you'd be surprised what will happen. It'll probably save you some money. And they said, well, I never thought about that. And I said, well, I'll talk to Scott Hobbs and ask him. But this water heater they have is about 10 to 15 years old. So it's probably on its last leg, and I'm sure it's not very energy efficient.
But sure, I would probably say the best advice would be to start budgeting for a new one, because that 15-year-old heater is going to leak at some point.
Well, my wife was telling me, she said, well, how about a on-demand water heater? And I said, well, I know the gas ones work great, but the lady said, well, I don't have gas. And I said, well, I know they make electric ones. I just don't know how well they work. Do electric ones work?
They're coming out with some new electric ones that are better than the old electric ones. The electric tankless heaters from years past have really had a bad rap and just not working very well, and not producing a lot of hot water. But if she doesn't have natural gas available, at my home I have propane, and I have a propane tank 20, 30 feet away from the house, and I love it. I mean, that's the only appliance that we have on the propane, and I filled it up a year ago, and my wife and I, we may have used half of that tank in, just almost a year.
You don't have any teenage daughters
very
living
much
with you
at all
anymore? Are your teenage daughters moved away?
They've moved away, yes.
That's the only reason you still have propane.
And they're self-supportive. So.
Well, that's the only reason you still have propane, because when my daughters come to visit me and they found out I had a tankless water heater, they take 30 and 45-minute showers. I've never seen anything like it before. They seem to enjoy it.
I know.
And they're in their 30s, they're in their late 30s and early 40s, so they still enjoy those showers. And well, I enjoy mine as well. It is kind of nice not having to worry about getting a blast of cold water when you least expect it early in the morning. But we are spoiled as a society. We do love our warm or hot showers in the morning. So you're saying that electric ones, there are some electric ones out there that work better than they have been.
Oh, sure. The new ones are way more efficient. And of course, the government continues to mandate, the efficiency to the point that the water heater manufacturer said, you know what, you're putting this on us. We're only going to make a 50-gallon electric residential heater. So they stopped making the 60 gallons, the 80 gallons that we used to get that would store all the hot water. And that was I always thought was a trick. These power companies would say, here, we'll give you, if you'll switch to electric, we'll give you a free 80-gallon water heater. Well, of course.
Now, yeah, because you heat up 80 gallons of water, a lot more electricity than if you're heating up 30 gallons of water.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. So. Yeah. Of course, everyone's looking out for themselves. I can't say that I blame on that part. But so water heaters, you were telling me that after 8 to 10 years, we've talked about this before, they're normally on a they're about ready to blow. Something's going to go. They're going to start leaking. I shouldn't say blow. They're going to start leaking, and the lifespan of a water heater is about 10 years old. So if anything is older than 10 years, they better start budgeting to get rid of it because it's on its last leg. Is that a good statement to say if it's 10 years old?
Sure. There's a sacrificial rod inside the water heater. It's called an anode rod, and as that rod deteriorates, the corrosive environment of the water, electrolysis, whatever the situation may be, as that rod deteriorates, then it starts to wreak havoc on the tank liner. It is glass lined, but there'll be tiny fissures that they'll find. The electrolysis, the chemical reaction will find its way through those fissures and start to corrode that tank. So the anode rod is designed to last 6 to 8 years, which is their warranty on the water heater.
Right. But if you got one that's more than 6 to 8 years old, you need to start thinking about getting rid of it and possibly replacing it with an on-demand water heater, whether it's electric or gas. Usually will pay for itself. I guess I don't know what the payoff is, but I figured they'd probably pay for themselves in the extra cost, probably about, I figure 3 to 5 years of not having to have them constantly running heating water when you're not there. So
that's as long as you don't have teenage daughters at home.
Yes, they're always that variable about teenage daughters. That's fact on there. So now the other day we were talking about the bio-choice. We got about 3 minutes left. And I mentioned something about I saw enzyme sticks that someone was talking about where you put this stick down your drain and it works in your grease trap down there and it releases it. But you cautioned me, said be careful. Enzymes will actually loosen things up where they're at, but they'll re-solidify down the line someplace. I did not know that.
Sure. The enzyme, and a lot of municipalities have forbidden or made it illegal for, say, a restaurant to use an enzyme product because it just pushes the grease, it solidifies it, and sends it down to the city system, and it causes all sorts of trouble with their lift stations and their main sewer lines get clogged with grease. So the bio-choice, the great thing about it is it's a friendly bacteria. Right. It actually turns the fog, the fats, oils, and grease, it turns it into water. It eats it.
Yeah, and that's the neat part about the enzymes. It doesn't re-solidify, but over enzymes, it doesn't re-solidify down the line someplace. It stays in a soluble state. It's what it's doing is, like you say, it cleans the drains out slowly. It doesn't do it overnight. It didn't get that way overnight, and it's not going to go away overnight. But over a period of time, it will take all that. I would call that sludge. All that sludge buildup that would be in an engine that's inside your pipes, it's going to slowly degrade it. Take it away. Just like putting full synthetic oil in a car that's full of sludge to clean all that sludge. It's the same thing using bio-choice. Over a period of time, by using that, you clean all the sludge or the fat, oil, and grease that's in your drain lines out where they're slick again and working like they're supposed to for a fraction of the cost for tearing up your yard or hydro scrubbing your lines. And all that can be done by just maybe 30 cents a week by putting Bio
Sure,
Choice
sure.
down the drain. I think that's about what it runs. My wife and I figured out one application runs about 30 cents. And it's
Right, and if you, if you have an older home, it would be good to go ahead and invest in, say, the hydro scrub, and let's get all the lines
Right.
as clean as possible. That process, it's kind of like washing your dishes with a scrub brush. It's going to get, and no soap, let's say. It's going to get the solids off. It's going to get everything else off, and then we apply the Bio Choice, and it takes care of that film, the rest of the stuff, and then it maintains it, keeps it from, growing on there and sticking on there for future.
Now, so we got about 2 minutes left here. So if people are interested, say they got an older home, say a home what's an older home for you? 10 years, 15 years old?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So if they got a home like that and they're wondering if they have a problem, maybe they're not having a problem, they could call your number at 763-2001. Your technician can come out there. They can actually run a camera down the line to see if there's any reason for them to do any hydro scrubbing. If there's no reason to do it, y'all won't recommend it. If there is a reason to do it, y'all would recommend it. Am I saying that right?
Oh, absolutely. We're gonna, be open and honest with you and give you proof that, hey, look, you do have a concern that needs to be addressed. And usually, if you have a slow drain, it's kind of like peeling the layers of the onion. You don't really realize that your drains are getting slower. It's a gradual thing, and then all of a sudden they stop up.
Yep.
So if you consciously start thinking, hey, my drains are slower than they used to be a few years ago, that's probably a good time. Let's come on out, take a look at it, see what we can do for you. Maybe we can get that going before it causes a stoppage when you have family over for Easter or whatever the case is.
Oh, yeah.
That's the worst possible time.
Oh, and it's right around the corner. And as the spring gets here, the roots are starting to grow, and they have a tendency to grow right towards any one of your drain lines out there that may have a crack in it.
Oh, sure.
And that's one of those things
right.
that ends up happening. It does. So, like I said, so that's a good thing to do. If someone does have a drain, give you a call at 763-2001. They can. I think when y'all come out for consultation, it doesn't cost anything, but it's after y'all do an examination, y'all can say yes or no, you have a problem, and then the customer can make a decision of what they want to do. Is that correct?
Sure. We come out at no obligation. If we do any work or use any equipment, of course, there may be a diagnostic charge or, we charge for the work we do.
Right.
And that's all.
Right.
And
You're not
we let
giving
you know that up
that's
front.
right. And you're making sure it's right and done correctly. That's wonderful. Scott, thank you so much for being on here. We're up against the clock. We're going to have to go. And if people want to know more about Mr. Reuter or BioChoice or any of these things to help their life a little bit better, they can call you at 763-2001.
That's correct.
And you're also looking to hire people. So if people want a
We're
job,
looking for good people. If they want to learn to be a plumber, they have mechanical skills and good home training, we've got a career for them.
that sounds wonderful, because that's one thing we need to make. Like Mike Rose says, we need to make hard work cool again, because there's nothing wrong with working hard and having a good paycheck at the end of the week. And I think we need to make it cool again, because there's nothing. I like working with my hands, and a lot of people do too. Not everyone does, but
Hey, all my plumbers are cool.
that's right. All your plumbers are cool. Hey, you be good. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye, everybody. This is James Morris. We'll talk to you all tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.
James Auto Center, we fix it right, guarantee.